Have you ever tried convincing someone about politics, religion, or even something as simple as healthy eating, only to end up in an argument where nobody changes their mind? You bring facts. They bring emotions. You explain. They become defensive. The conversation ends, and both people believe they won. But what if you've been trying to change minds the wrong way your entire life? What if there was a surprisingly simple psychological method that makes people question their own beliefs without shouting, insulting, or manipulating them? That's exactly what today's book explores. And one technique hidden inside this book completely changed the way many people approach difficult conversations. I'll save that one for the end because it's probably the most useful idea in the entire book. I try to understand this book in 4 parts including the final conclusion, so let's start the conversation. Part 1. Why arguments almost never work. Think about the last argument you had online. Maybe it was in YouTube comments, WhatsApp, Facebook, or with a family member. Did anyone actually change their opinion? Probably not. That's because people don't protect facts. They protect identities. When a belief becomes part of someone's identity, attacking the belief feels like attacking the person. That's why even overwhelming evidence often fails. The authors explain that persuasion isn't about defeating someone. It's about creating enough curiosity that they begin questioning themselves. Notice the difference. One creates resistance. The other creates reflection. That single shift changes everything. If you want to dive deeper, I've linked the book below. Part 2. The biggest mistake everyone makes. Imagine 2 people discussing whether AI will replace jobs. Person A spends 5 minutes explaining statistics. Person B interrupts every sentence. Soon they are louder than they are smarter. Sound familiar? Now imagine another person. Instead of arguing, they simply ask, "What evidence would make you change your mind?" That question sounds harmless, but psychologically, it's incredibly powerful. Because suddenly, the other person has to think instead of defend. And that's the hidden pattern throughout this book. Instead of giving better answers, learn to ask better questions. Simple, but surprisingly rare. Part 3. The secret most people never notice. Here's something fascinating. People love being right, but they hate being told they're wrong. Those sound similar, but they're completely different. The book introduces conversational techniques that reduce defensiveness before presenting new ideas. Instead of saying, "You're wrong," you gently explore, "How certain are you? Why do you think that? What would convince you otherwise?" These questions lower emotional barriers. Suddenly, the conversation feels safe, and people become willing to explore. This isn't manipulation. It's respectful curiosity. And that's why it works. Part 4. The most powerful principle. Now here's the idea I promised earlier. According to the authors, real persuasion doesn't happen when you speak. It happens while the other person is thinking. Read that again. The goal isn't delivering the perfect speech. The goal is helping someone examine their own beliefs. That's an enormous difference. Most people think persuasion is talking. This book suggests persuasion is guiding thought. And once you understand that distinction, you'll never approach difficult conversations the same way again. The fascinating part? The book provides practical frameworks, step-by-step conversation examples, and psychological techniques that simply can't be covered in one video. And honestly, that's where its real value lies. The practical exercises are the real value, and I've left them out intentionally so you can experience them in the book. And the final conclusion: if you've ever struggled to convince your parents, your spouse, your boss, your friends, or even strangers online, this book is worth exploring. Not because it teaches you how to win arguments, but because it teaches you something much more valuable: how to have conversations where people actually listen. In today's world, where everyone is trying to speak, very few people know how to guide a meaningful discussion. That's the real lesson. And I intentionally left out many of the practical frameworks because experiencing them in the book is far more valuable than hearing a condensed version. If you'd like to read it yourself, you'll find the affiliate link in the description. Trust me, if communication is a skill you want to master, this is one of those books you'll probably keep coming back to. Before you leave, answer one question in the comments. What's the hardest conversation you've ever had where nobody changed their mind? I'd love to read your experiences. And if this video made you curious, check out the book using the direct buy link in the description. It helps support the channel at no extra cost to you. Subscribe if you enjoy practical books on psychology, communication, persuasion, and self-improvement, because every week we break down powerful ideas that can genuinely improve your life. See you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye bye friends.